US President Donald Trump confronted South African President Cyril Ramaphosa on Wednesday with explosive false claims of white genocide and land seizures during a tense White House meeting that was reminiscent of his February ambush of Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky. The summary of this Oval Office meeting includes the following. Trump's allegation of mass killings of white South Africans is baseless. Ramaphosa and allies seek to counter Trump's claims. South Africa denies white citizens are persecuted. Billionaire Rupert backs Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa in Washington seeking to mend US ties. President of the United States, Donald Trump, known for his unfiltered remarks and often provocative use of social media. A shocking statement that reverberated across continents. In February, President Donald Trump issued an executive order allowing the US resettlement of white Afrikaner refugees from South Africa, citing racially discriminatory property confiscation. Trump also told reporters he allowed the resettlement because Afrikaner farmers were being killed and were the target of genocide. South African crime data, which has limitations, shows that deaths classified as farm murders account for less than 1% of more than 27,000 annual murders nationwide. He claimed that there was a large-scale killing of white farmers in South Africa, a statement that immediately ignited a firestorm of debate and condemnation, and that the South African government was seizing their land, further escalating the already tense situation with accusations of governmental complicity. This claim, quickly dubbed the white genocide narrative by both supporters and detractors, sparked outrage and confusion across the globe, leaving many questioning the basis and motivation behind such a bold assertion. Trump's words weren't just inaccurate, they lacked factual backing and context. They were dangerous, carrying the potential to incite violence and exacerbate existing societal divisions. By using the term genocide, a term reserved for the most heinous crimes against humanity, a word loaded with historical weight and horror, evoking images of systematic extermination and unimaginable suffering, he implied a systematic extermination of white South Africans, a claim that was not supported by evidence and served to inflame passions. This wasn't true, as numerous fact-checking organizations and experts quickly pointed out, highlighting the lack of credible data to support such a claim. The impact of Trump's words was immediate, triggering a wave of reactions across social media and traditional news outlets. It fueled existing racial tensions within South Africa. In a nation still grappling with the legacy of apartheid and the challenges of reconciliation, such a callous statement provided ammunition for white nationalist groups worldwide, who seized upon the statement to promote their own divisive agendas and hateful ideologies. It also painted a distorted picture of a complex nation, reducing a multifaceted reality to a simplistic and misleading narrative. South Africa, a land of vibrant cultures and breathtaking landscapes, is a nation grappling with its past and striving for a better future, working towards healing and progress, despite its persistent challenges. Trump has shared versions of this narrative since 2018, as have others in his orbit, including Elon Musk, a Trump advisor from South Africa. Trump's decision about resettling Afrikaners was a reversal. He suspended all US refugee admissions after taking office. Like many nations across the globe, South Africa struggles with the pervasive issue of crime, a shadow that affects communities and individuals alike. It's a multifaceted problem with deep roots and far-reaching consequences. It's a country marked by deep economic disparities, where the gap between the wealthy and the impoverished remains a stark reality. This inequality fuels social tensions and contributes to the overall crime rate. The nation also carries a heavy legacy of apartheid, a system of institutionalized racial segregation and discrimination that has left deep scars on South African society. This history continues to shape the present, contributing to ongoing social challenges and inequalities that exacerbate the problem of crime. However, to suggest that violence is targeted specifically at white people is simply untrue and dangerously misleading. Such claims ignore the broader context of crime in South Africa. Statistics meticulously gathered and analyzed show that South Africans of all races are victims of crime, highlighting the indiscriminate nature of this societal ill. In fact, the data reveals a troubling reality. Black South Africans are disproportionately affected by violence, bearing a heavier burden of its consequences. Tragically, they are more likely to be victims of murder, a devastating loss that shatters families and communities. They also experience higher rates of assault, leaving lasting physical and emotional scars. And they are more frequently targeted in robberies, further exacerbating economic hardship and insecurity. Attributing violence to race, singling out one group as the primary target rather than addressing the root causes of crime, these systemic issues that perpetuate it, like the pervasive poverty and deep-seated inequality that plague many communities, is not only misleading, but also deeply harmful, hindering efforts to find effective solutions. It ignores the lived experiences of millions of South Africans from all walks of life who face the daily reality of crime, the constant threat that looms over their lives regardless of their skin color or background, emphasizing the urgent need for comprehensive and inclusive solutions to address this complex challenge. The response from many South Africans, both black and white, to Trump's claim was swift and unequivocal. This is not a genocide. Academics, journalists, and human rights organizations debunked the white genocide narrative, pointing to a lack of evidence and highlighting the divisive nature of such rhetoric. South African media played a crucial role in fact-checking Trump's claims, publishing numerous articles and opinion pieces that challenged the false narrative. They emphasized that while farm attacks are a serious issue, they are not part of a systematic campaign against white South Africans. Critics of Trump argued that his statements about South Africa were not rooted in concern for white farmers, but rather in a broader agenda of white supremacy. They pointed to his history of inflammatory remarks about minorities and his policies, which often seemed to target non-white communities. The white genocide narrative, they argued, was a dog whistle to white supremacists globally, a way to legitimize their hateful ideology and recruit new followers. By echoing their rhetoric, Trump gave a platform to their dangerous views. The international community largely condemned Trump's remarks. Many world leaders expressed their support for South Africa and condemned the spread of misinformation. To truly understand the impact of these kinds of statements, it's crucial to listen to the voices of South Africans themselves. We need to hear directly from the people who live and breathe the realities of this complex nation to grasp the nuances often missed by outsiders. Their perspectives offer invaluable insights into the delicate social fabric of South Africa. Following the controversial comments, many black South Africans expressed anger and frustration at Trump's comments. The remarks touched a raw nerve, igniting a sense of historical injustice and present-day marginalization. It was a reaction born from lived experiences and a deep understanding of the country's complex past. Many were seeing them as a continuation of a long history of Western powers meddling in African affairs, a pattern of interference that has often had devastating consequences for the continent. This historical context is essential for understanding the depth of the reaction. It's not just about one isolated statement, but a perceived continuation of a harmful legacy. The comments were seen as perpetuating harmful stereotypes, reinforcing negative and inaccurate portrayals of the country and its people. This kind of rhetoric can have a real impact, shaping perceptions and influencing policy decisions in ways that are detrimental to South Africa's progress. "It's insulting and demeaning," said one resident of Johannesburg, capturing the sentiment of many who felt that their dignity and experiences were being disregarded. The words cut deep, resonating with a history of oppression and misrepresentation. "We are trying to build a nation here, a nation where everyone feels valued and respected, regardless of their background or race. We are trying to heal the wounds of the past, to move forward together and create a more just and equitable society for all." And then someone like Trump comes along and throws fuel on the fire, undermining the progress that has been made and reigniting old tensions. It felt like a setback, a reminder of the challenges that still lie ahead in the journey towards true reconciliation. White South Africans also largely rejected the genocide narrative, viewing it as an exaggeration and a misrepresentation of the complex realities of land reform and social change. Many expressed concern that Trump's words would only serve to divide the country further, exacerbating existing tensions and making it more difficult to address the real challenges facing South Africa. The fear was that it would create more division than unity. "We are all South Africans," said a white farmer in Cape Town, emphasizing the shared identity and the need for collective action. "We need to work together to solve our problems, to find common ground and build a future where everyone can thrive. We cannot let ourselves be divided by this kind of rhetoric, by divisive language that seeks to pit us against each other. Our strength lies in our unity." While the so-called white genocide narrative is, a dangerous fabrication, it's important to acknowledge that South Africa actually faces some real challenges. Poverty, inequality, and crime are serious issues that affect all South Africans. The legacy of apartheid continues to cast a long shadow, and decades of racial segregation and discrimination have left, really deep scars on society. The gap between rich and poor is vast, and access to education, healthcare, and opportunity still remains unequal. Addressing these issues honestly requires open conversation, a commitment to social justice, and of course, investment in education, job creation, and community development. The white genocide narrative is frankly a stark reminder of the power of misinformation and, the danger of prejudice. It's a reminder that words absolutely have consequences and that spreading falsehoods can have real-world implications. It's our responsibility to be critical thinkers, to question what we hear, and to seek out accurate information. We must challenge racism and discrimination in all its forms and stand up for the truth. South Africa's story is, honestly, complex and nuanced. It's a story of pain and injustice, but also of resilience, hope, and the ongoing struggle for reconciliation. To reduce this complex narrative to a simplistic and false claim of white genocide is not only inaccurate, but also deeply disrespectful to the lived experiences of South Africans. Building a just and equitable South Africa requires understanding, empathy, and a real commitment to dialogue. It means acknowledging the injustices of the past while working together to create a better future for everyone. The white genocide controversy should really serve as a wake-up call. It highlights the dangers of misinformation and the importance of engaging in constructive dialogue. It also underscores the need to address the root causes of inequality and injustice in South Africa. By confronting prejudice, promoting understanding, and working together, South Africans can build a future free from fear and division, a future where all citizens have the opportunity to thrive.